Hey, what's up guys, I'm bringing you a different style of video for today. I have been wanting to build something for absolutely ages and I have had loads of requests to build this as well. But I've not really wanted to make a tutorial on this particular thing because it's really big and it's really detailed, but I still wanted to make a video on it. And I think that this style of video is the best way to showcase it. I think that you guys are really going to like this. So we're currently on Tutorial Mountain, but this place isn't really suited for what I want to build. I don't think it's going to fit in this pond here. So we're going to leave the comfort of Tutorial Mountain, our glorious home, and we're going to move to a much harsher location. We're going to move to the Tutorial Ocean. Welcome to Tutorial Ocean. It's not really as nice as the mountaintop, but it is necessary for what I want to build, which is the Kraken. That's right, I've been wanting to build a Kraken for absolutely ages, and here is the footage of me doing it. Let's roll the tape, so... I decided to begin with the Kraken's mouth, which begins as an oval shape, but I quickly decided that that isn't going to work. I changed it to much more of a circular shape just because I thought it was more aesthetically pleasing. I'm using mainly orange stained clay for the Kraken, but there's a little bit of red stained clay in there for the mouth, and I'm using the quartz stairs for the teeth in a jagged formation. After I finished the mouth shape, I decided to come back and establish where I want the Kraken's head to be and how big it is. I also begin building the eyes because they're one of the main features. The Kraken doesn't have many features, but eyes are definitely one of them. And I sculpt the Kraken a little bit on one side, and then I figure it's probably best to get the eyes taken care of, and then we can get the body sorted out. I basically have the eyes sunk one row into the head, and once I've figured out where they're going to be, how big they're going to be, I then establish the shape a little bit better of the Kraken's head. I decide that it's probably best to like build it all up, make it as big as the mouth, and then figure out what I'm doing for the top of the head, because that's it's kind of a difficult portion of the Kraken to do. It was the most challenging part. This part was quite easy, but then figuring out what I'm going to do for the head was somewhat difficult. But I do decide that, you know how some squids have like a big giant weird pointy shaped head? I decide to do that with the Kraken. I begin with what's kind of like a top hat shape, which is kind of funny and it looks really weird, but I start with that and then I mold it a little later on. The Kraken's actually a really simple shape, as you can see. You basically just start off with the circle, you throw the eyes, and you connect it all together in a rough circle shape, and then you give it essentially what either looks like a top hat or a turban. I'm not really sure which, but you can see that I had to mess about with it a little bit because it literally looked like the Kraken had a top hat. After I had that done, I figured that it's probably about time that we give this thing some tentacles, but what can I do to make the tentacles a little bit more interesting? Well, I decide to put a broken apart piece of ship in the tentacle and I wrap that around the actual broken part of the ship. I also add a contrast colour for the underbody of the tentacle, which is the yellow stained clay, and I add those like little suction cuffs, you know those things that are like... I add those things. I finish the first tentacle, I move on to the second. I knew that I wanted it to be roughly similar, and I knew that I wanted it to be about parallel to the first tentacle, so it's all the way on the opposite side, and it's doing a very similar thing to the first one. It's just got a broken apart piece of ship in there. The idea is that the Kraken is just absolutely destroyed like a pirate ship. It's tearing it apart, and it still has the ship in both of its tentacles. Plus, I add some falling debris, which is what those like diagonal blocks are. Then it made sense to me to actually have some like pieces of ship in the water around, so I just add some random parts of wreckage in front of the Kraken. You'll see those later. Then I wasn't very satisfied with simply 2 tentacles, so I added one at the very back right hand corner, which I decided to make a random shape. Like, I knew that I wanted it to be big so you could see it from the front of the Kraken, and I made it a bit wavy because it didn't make sense that the tentacles would just be like one big straight line, so it's a little bit wavy. It has all of the suction cuffs, and it's kind of a bit more 3D in nature because at the top it like comes out more than it does at the bottom, and you can see me building up at the back and the back and the back. And I add even more detail at the top like that. You can see that I built it in like 3 layers. It's basically like 3 different shapes and 3 different sizes. Well, after the 3rd tentacle got taken care of, I decided to add a bit more of a shipwreck scene in the back left-hand side of the Kraken. I just added a little bit of debris from a ship. Then I decided that I really wasn't happy with just the 3 tentacles, so I made a very small tentacle at the back here. It didn't need to be massive because I thought that it might make the Kraken look a little bit silly, and it just pokes out of the water. And we end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Well, after I finished the 4th and final tentacle, I was wondering what else I could add, because it just seemed to be lacking something, and I think I found the perfect thing, which kind of tells a little bit more of a story, and I had to slow this down because otherwise it just cut off abruptly. I decided to add the mast and sail of a pirate ship coming out from the right hand side of a Kraken, because you already have like the shipwreck and you already have like the 2 halves of the ship being held in the Kraken's tentacles, and I decided that it'd be really cool if I included it as part of the Kraken, and then you've really got a sense of actually what happened in this remote part of the ocean. So this is a better shot of the mast. For whatever reason, the footage towards the end just doesn't want to work properly, and I think that this really does help to tell a little bit of a better story of what may happened here. You can see that there's even remnants of the pirate flag still attached. Well, I think that a logical conclusion that somebody may come to after checking out this whole scene is that there was obviously some sort of ship, probably a pirate ship, docked somewhere offshore in this mountainous area. And our Kraken, the monstrous, mythical, massive beast that he is, was swimming around in his ocean. And maybe the pirates were just making too much noise, or maybe they were just playing Justin Bieber, doing something that the Kraken really hated. So the Kraken came over, absolutely decimated the ship, and I think that this really does tell the scene a little bit better. But maybe the Kraken didn't just completely destroy the ship and leave it as is. Maybe the Kraken ate some of the ship. Maybe this isn't just a Kraken statue. Maybe this is actually a little bit of a hidden Kraken house. So if we were to come in the Kraken's mouth here, you'll notice that we have 2 ladders which take us down into the belly of the beast, and if we were to wander down here, we actually have a survivor. Hello, what happened? What happened to you? Unfortunately, he's mute. He can't tell us what happened, but if we were to have a little bit of a look around, you can see that he's actually managed to make a little bit of a home for himself. And his name's actually Jack? I'm just assuming that his name's Jack. Nod once for yes. I'll take that as a yes, and just above here is a compass. I wonder what conclusion could be drawn from this villager wearing black on a pirate ship with the name Jack and a compass above his bed. I wonder what could have happened here, and I wonder what sort of story he'd be able to tell us. Maybe one day he'll be able to escape this using sea turtles and lengths of hair from his back. Well, this is the Kraken house, guys. You could make it a lot bigger. You could change it in many ways. You could change the color of the Kraken. You could completely turn it into a different creature altogether. You could add more tentacles. You could add less tentacles. You could change whatever it is that our Kraken is destroying. You could add a beach. You could add all sorts of things. But I'll leave that open for you guys to decide. If you like this video, I'd really love it if you could give this video a like. I'd really appreciate that. Sometimes I just want to build things without having to worry about there being a tutorial for them, and this is one of those things. I just wanted to freestyle build a Kraken, and I think that it turned out absolutely amazing. Like if you wouldn't mind. Comment down below, would you like to see another one of these style of videos? If so, tell me. What should I build next? Obviously, I can build much larger things with this style of video, and I don't have to worry about making a tutorial for them, which is a massive, massive advantage when I want to build stuff, because I can add far more detail, and I can spend a lot more time on it, and I can make it a lot bigger. So let me know, if you do want to see something else like this, let me know what that should be. Do you want me to make King Kong? Do you want me to make some sort of other magic, mythical creature? Do you just want me to build a really big house? let me know. What do you want to see next in the future? Follow me on Twitter at TSMC360. Check out the card system and the description below. I'll be leaving you some videos and playlists there, but I think that we should probably wrap this up, so thank you very much for watching, guys. And remember, when you're out there on the ocean, be very careful, because you don't want to end up like poor Jack down there.